Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia and I post every Friday. So currently I'm on my journey to first 1,000 subscribers and I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. And for this week I decided to share 5 movies you must watch. So the first movie I want to talk about is actually Parasite. It's a Korean 2019 comedy drama directed by Bong Joon-ho. And you haven't heard about this movie only if you live under the rock, because literally this year it got Oscar for the Best Picture. And there are also, I know, those people who probably heard about it for 1,000 times but haven't yet checked it because they are like thinking, maybe it's not good, like, maybe I'll watch it just later. You know what? Watch it. It's amazing. I love it. It's a damn good movie and it tells us a story of a poor family who lives in a basement apartment in a poor district. One day, Woo-shik gets an opportunity to start working as a private English teacher for a young girl that has a very wealthy family. He manages to make sure that his whole family starts to work for the Parks. This movie is super interesting to watch. It has like amazing jokes, unpredictable plot twists, and overall very interesting story. The main idea of the movie is to show how Korea is still suffering from a clear social distance based on economical perspective, so on how much the people earn. You have this wealthy family living on a hill in an amazing area in a light, spacious house with lots of windows, and on the other end of the spectrum there is the Kims, who live in a small dirty area literally below the earth's level, having one small window and obviously no daylight. They even smell poor, and the movie emphasizes on that. The mindset of these two families is also very different. For instance, while a storm is seen as something beautiful by the Parks, it is seen as a disaster that will destroy their lives for the Kims. What I like about this movie is that it really differs from others. Maybe it's because it's a Korean director, but you know, when you see movies like this in Hollywood, and like, you know, don't get me wrong, this idea is not very original. Like, this concept was like used thousands of times, but usually in Hollywood movies, when you see a wealthy family like versus the poor family, the wealthy family would be shown as like, you know, arrogant villains, and then the poor family would be shown as like this like clearly imbeciles, you know, that they have no idea like how their life is working and they are like so funny and blah blah blah. In this movie it's not the case. And that literally gives so much dimensions. Like, characters are so complicated and you fall in love with each and everyone. You want to get to know why they do certain things. It's so interesting to follow like their, you know, life through the period of time that is showcased in the movie. The wealthy family is portrayed as a realistic family, having some problems, being not always right or wrong. They are not showed as clear villains, yet their small phrases, their silent moments, their way of looking at the Kims show off the arrogance and the distance they have, while the poor family is portrayed as a smart one, and it is logical as they are not fortunate, so they constantly need to think about the ways how to get money. Another great thing about this movie is that you don't get bored with it. So when you already know enough about both of the families, the plot twists tremendously and it's amazing. Like, at this moment the movie becomes even more interesting to follow because you're already so connected to characters, and when these events start happening you're like literally worried about them. Everything changes, the mood, the colors, the angles. It is not comedy anymore, but it starts to pick up the codes and conventions of a thriller, and at this point you are hooked and you really want to know what will happen. The house from a desirable turns to be scary. The fact that the situation that is portrayed in this movie is so realistic made me even more interested in the story plot. And like, this movie is amazing from all the perspectives, like the filming techniques, the acting, the plot, like everything is so good. I rate this movie 9 out of 10, and this is literally one of those movies that make me so excited. Like, I think you can tell from the way I talk about this movie, like, it literally inspires me so much. Movies like this make me want to create, you know. I literally recommend this movie to everyone because this movie is showing exactly what the movie should be and what a qualitative movie should be. And if you already have watched it, please let me know down in the comments if you liked it, and if not, why. Maybe if you are not familiar with Asian culture, especially with like Korean way of cinematography and stuff, it might seem to you a bit like strange or something like that. I personally really love Korean cinematography. I'm a great fan of K-dramas, so I literally love this movie, like it's amazing. Also, I always put here, you can see the eye icon, and there are like many different questionnaires you can fill in, so don't hesitate to take part in a poll. Okay, but let's move on to the next movie, and the next I want to talk about Lady Bird. It's a 2017 comedy drama directed by Greta Gerwig, and it tells us a story of a schoolgirl from a small city, Sacramento, who goes through the hard times of figuring out who she is. People around just don't believe in her. Her mom and teachers laugh at her face when she tells them about her university choices. Her schoolmates see her as a weirdo who makes everyone call her Lady Bird, and she herself doesn't believe she worth something. What I like about this movie is that it differs from the other movies of this genre. Like when you see a comedy about a high school girl, right, you think about an outcast who would go like through some stuff in school, and then she eventually meets like this popular girl group, or she starts dating a guy, and then all her life is turning around and she's like so cool. But within this movie, though, there are some male characters with whom Lady Bird has some sort of love arcs, yet those are not emphasized as seeking for love, but are shown to illustrate that the heroine is trying to understand who she is and starts loving herself. The main plot line is focused on daughter-mother relationships, showcasing a well-known generation gap. The religious school that the girl attends also plays a crucial role in the story, illustrating that Lady Birds want to do something, but she has an inner fear, which is here presented as a strict school rules. The filming and editing techniques of this movie are very interesting from the perspective of how the mise-en-scenes are starting. Let me explain. Mise-en-scenes are not logically started, but they are shown as if few seconds were cut out. Lady Bird is very realistic and has a lot of great cinematic shots. Being fairly short, 93 minutes, the story leaves this great note of sadness that the movie actually ended. I rate this movie 6.5 out of 10 and recommend it to everyone who loves school-related stories, but think that the movie of early 2000s are kinda too cringe. So the next movie I want to talk about is In Darkness. In Darkness is a 2018 thriller directed by Anthony Barnett that tells us a story of a blind musician who witnessed murder. It's pretty hard to talk about this movie without giving away really crucial parts of the story and, you know, spoiling it, but I'll try my best to explain you what the plot is without giving away too much. All in all, Sophia hears how her friend Veronica is killed, yet she still needs to perform at Veronica's father's birthday party, and it is very important for her. She starts cooperating with the detective, telling what she heard, simultaneously starting finding some clues. The music plays a crucial role within the movie, not only because the heroine is a piano player, but music leads the viewer into the sequences, adding a Hitchcock vibe to the overall atmosphere. This movie is a solid 6 out of 10, with some unpredictable yet some predictable plots and amazing music accompaniment. Also, let me know if you have seen this movie down in the comments or here at the poll. The next movie I want to talk about, The House That Jack Built. Directed by Lars von Trier, this horror movie was released in 2018. Starring Matt Dillon as Jack, a self-proclaimed highly intellectual serial killer with OCD syndrome, this movie tells us a story of a psychologically unstable man who kills men and women for 12 years. What I really like about this movie is the filming style, and even though it is categorized as a horror thriller, I would also argue that it's a psychological thriller with the pinch of an art house. It gives me a feeling as if the director was kind of, I don't know, inspired by French and German niche movies, and his idea was also to combine the classical Hollywood structure with some documentary codes and conventions, and it was very interesting to watch how the plotline and the story is developing. Both critique and regular viewers really form a two-sided attitude towards the movie, where some are saying it's horrible and others claims it's deep and thoughtful. Personally, I love movies that make you think, feel, and make you want to discuss what you've just seen. The House That Jack Built is exactly that type of a movie. The plot has a lot of allegories and connections with Dante's Divine Comedy, questioning morale, modern society and its ignorance, as well as showing how damaged from the inside a person can be. The plot doesn't really tell us who Jack is. What was his childhood like? How he communicates with people on a daily basis? Does he have friends? He's shown as narcissistic, self-proclaimed, highly intellectual man towards whom we don't have any sympathy. I feel like for many years the death and murder were kind of romanticized in movies. Directors were trying to show murderers as people who suffer and we need to sort of feel some sympathy towards them. In contrast, in this movie, we hate Jack. We don't want to understand him. We have literally zero sympathy for him and we just want him to be punished. The ending of the movie is very complex, yet I hated the cinematography. Like, I'm not sure why Von Trier chose this style of filming and editing for the ending. I didn't like it at all, though I won't give it away because, you know, it will just like ruin the whole experience for you. I rate this movie 7.5 out of 10 and I recommend it if you like horror movies but that are very complex, pressuring and depressing. Yeah, it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're into like, you know, horror stories, then you probably will like this one. I personally liked it, except of the ending. And if you already watched this movie, please let me know if you actually liked the ending or hated it just like I did. Yeah, I want to know. And also, are there any of you that watched this movie and didn't like it at all, like they thought that it's like too much? Okay, the next movie I want to talk about is Murder on Orient Express. Murder on Orient Express is a crime drama directed by Kenneth Branagh and released in 2017. This movie is based on Agatha Christie's novels and the story was actually adapted many times before. A 2017 adaptation tells us a story of Hercule Poirot, the best detective in the world, who wanted to rest while traveling on the Orient Express for 3 days. However, during the second night, one of the passengers is murdered. Of course, the greatest detective in the world can't leave it like it is and starts to solve the mystery. He needs to talk with each and every passenger to figure out what they know and what they have heard, eventually figuring out who the murderer is and what was the motive. What I really like about this movie is that it has these old-school vibes of murder mysteries, and also another aspect is that it has great cinematography. Like, if you're searching for some inspiration, definitely watch this movie. The cinematography there is amazing. However, when talking about not so strong points of the movie, that's the characters and how they are portrayed. Don't get me wrong, like the main character, the detective Poirot, he's amazing, but other characters, you just don't get to know them that much, and like they're crucial to the story, right? Like one of them murdered a passenger, so all of them need to be like super involved in the plot, but yet it's all about the detective. Overall, it's a great movie if you like detective stories and are okay with slow-paced editing. Like, no chasing scenes in this one, sorry. I rate this movie 6.5 out of 10 and I really enjoyed it, to be honest. And if you like to solve murder mysteries and you like that old school crime movies, then definitely check this one out. Let me know if you have seen this movie down in the comments, or here I have created a poll. So yeah, basically that's it for this week video, and these were 5 movies I recommend you to watch. However, a short disclaimer. Down in the comments you can find the link to my Telegram channel, which is all dedicated to movie, series, K-drama, anime and all of that good stuff. If you're interested in written reviews as well as being notified about my new videos about movie, series, anime, K-drama and oh my god, so much more, like yes, then definitely hit the link down below to my Telegram channel. There you can find the written reviews, some polls, some trailers to the movie series, and like there will be way more and extra material where we all can discuss movies and just, you know, exchange our ideas movies and stuff like that, definitely hit that link down below. I want to thank you once again that you stayed up till this moment and you watched my video, and I hope you will find a movie to watch. If you like this video and you want to become a movie/series addict and join our cult, please hit the subscribe button and become a part of this addiction on this channel. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching once again, and see you in my next one on Friday.
All the good girls, they